Hello, summoners and summonettes. Come one, come all, because we're here at the Mobile Fire Challenger Series, ready for some action, ready for some blood. I am being joined by the one, the only, the amazing Rapid. Rapid, how you doing tonight?
Well, I think you're about one third right on those, but you know what? I'm gonna take it, and hopefully everybody else here will agree at least somewhat with that. For everything going on tonight, I do want to also thank Arthalon, our previous guest, for casting us. Make sure to support Team To Be Determined as you see them not only in MCS but as they go for LCS qualifiers and packs. And that takes us into our second game of the night. It's going to be a little bit of a different lineup here for Team Tempest going up against Denial Esports. And if you guys have been following MCS, you know that Denial are absolute monsters. These guys are having huge standing in the runnings. They've only lost to Complexity and GGLA, so a little bit of a weird loss there. But as far as team standings are concerned, Denial in third place at 8-2, right behind Complexity and To Be Determined, going up against Team Tempest, who are 3-7, really looking to bring things back. So expect to see some pretty impressive performances from necessary from them to turn this game around, because Denial, they're starting to look pretty good.
I mean, the question is, Tempest, alright, you guys are 3-7, you don't have the best score out there. What is your game plan against Denial? Denial, they've got the solid W Pooh Bear in the mid lane, Flappy Bearfish repping the awesome AD, and Glebe Glarbu. Glebe Glarbu is one of my favorite supports. I just love watching that dude play. So how do they stop this just tremendous force of challenger action that is just going to be coming at them nonstop?
Well, step number one is to ban Nidalee. Step number two is to ban Lee Sin, and step number three is to ban Zyra. So I think they're off to a good start as far as
Good
bans
bans, good
versus
bans.
Denial. Yeah, that's pretty much picture perfect bans against well, basically Inox, Scuba Chris, and Flap and Nubby Pooh Bear. The only thing I would have changed is the ban out Twisted Fate instead of that Zyra. I mean, Nubby's good on Zyra, but let's just be real. Twisted Fate is a little bit of a monster even after his gold nerfs. So we are going to see a Twitch and Jarvan locked in immediately here for Denial. And the Thresh first pick, it's very strong. I wouldn't complain if any team first picked Thresh, but let's see how they want to AD carry counter this Twitch. We've seen a lot of Vayne, a lot of maybe Tristana coming out here, but with Francis coming in, be interesting to see what they lock in for Virus as far as that AD carry battle, as still don't have a support or really that mid laner. And I think the mid lane pick is really what's going to turn this Denial Esports lineup around.
I mean, like, overall, both teams right now, they have a solid foundation. You don't know exactly what they're going to do. Like, what does Zach Renekton mean? It means that they're probably on a good team. So these last revealing picks that are going to come out for both Tempest and Denial with the upcoming picks, that's going to spell everything out. And you're right, the mid laner pick, I do want to see what they both put out there, because Nubby Pooh Bear, he's not someone to be trifled with. And like right now, for example, if Zyra was not banned, this could be an amazing Zyra team. Like, they have the setup for all this AoE if they do lock in that Sona. So are they going to go for the crazy AoE team? If they pick that monkey, the answer is yes. If they pick that cat, we'll go with the maybe. We'll go with the maybe if they pick the cat.
Now, Inox has actually been playing a ton of Riven, and I would expect to see his Riven versus the Renekton, although that's not really a matchup that Riven does a whole lot in very early on. You definitely have to know how to play that. And if there's one thing you can say about Inox, it's that he knows his matchups. The Renekton versus Rengar, not something I've actually seen before. And if you lock in that Zed, I think that'd be a little bit more familiar for Inox.
Definitely still a lot available here. They have the foundation for AoE. They'll want someone who can A, just do a lot of damage in general, and then B, something else to back it up. So, for example, they could have someone that can split push well. That way, if they can't, like, while they're setting up these cool 4v5 or 4v4 team fights, they have someone doing something across the map. Or someone like Zed, who can just wipe someone off the face of the earth before that team fight even starts. So the Zed pick, I do like it. It just depends on how they round out the team. And Heimerdinger and Rhaegar being looked at, these cannot be troll picks whatsoever. I think they're solid. I think they'll pick these characters, and it will be amazing.
As they would be the harbinger of Arthalon to come. You know, he casts with us. We see a Heimerdinger next game. I mean, last week in MCS, we had the very first competitive Poppy games come out from New World Eclipse's Quas. So after those, I'm a believer. Anything is possible, and you can win games with just about whatever you want, as long as you're, oh, by the way, ridiculously good at playing
Yeah.
it.
I
Probably
mean,
won't see Heimerdinger, though.
well, it's 80 Heimerdinger. Those wrenches, man. Those wrenches. They hurt so much.
I mean, pretty much the thing that hurts the most for hybriding is the swag walk. I mean, you just see somebody walking at you, just like swagging out like that, wrenches in his hand, and yeah, you kind of just like you don't really do a whole lot after that. You just kind of
All right.
lose. So,
Well,
and
Vayne Lissandra. It's not
uh,
wrenches, but
eh,
it
it's
can.
close. It's the second best thing. I mean, you don't want to just auto win, so you go with the Vayne and Lissandra. But in all seriousness, we did see a huge Lissandra performance from Pilbelter on Infinite Odds, and that's that last game, able to take out GGLA, and a really strong performance from that. Don't know exactly what he's going to be going up against, as Glebe Glarbu does have the last pick. Probably will be the AP mid pick there against Baby Zeus's Lissandra. Now, keep in mind, Baby Zeus primarily an Akali player. That's how he got up to the very first challenger player in North America. But Zed is a huge second to his Akali. He definitely knows how to play against that matchup if they do decide to put Zed on Navi Pooh Bear. But something tells me they want an Ox to be that huge split pusher. That means they're still looking for that mid pick.
Ooh, oh, this could work. This could work really damn well. Are they gonna do it? They can still change it. Oh, wait, that also works pretty well. All right, okay, I can go with the Cassidy pick.
It also works, and it's a viable champion.
Yes.
So
well,
2 out of 2.
Galio is a weird pick because he's nothing but AoE CC, but in AoE CC Hell Comp, hey, it can sack on and do okay. Cassidy, he's oddly enough going to be weaker in lane because Galio is just naturally tankier and he doesn't have that self-built sustain, but Cassidy is going to kind of be this weird side to the Twitch comp. So they have Jarvan, they have Sona, they have a lot of AoE CC, and they only have Twitch for the AoE damage, and that's okay. Because Twitch is that damaging where you can deal with that. You can deal with only having spray and pray for your major AoE. Now they have 2 assassins, so if someone does go for a Twitch, they can just try and kill the assassin right then and there, or they can dive the backline that is trying to get out of that AoE and most likely will not be standing in the spray and pray. So overall, I really like Denial's comp. It's a very cool twist.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Navi Pooh Bear's Kassadin, and to be honest, everybody knows that he is that huge Zyra player, but he's actually been switching over a little bit to Kassadin. We've seen some huge Kassadin games come out of Cognitive over the weekend in the Gold Gaming Los Angeles Challenger Arena. We had Zamfira, the AP mid for Cognitive, who actually may see play in here not too long. He went like 17, 2, and 8 as Kassadin. Just devastating performances. Navi Pooh Bear's Kassadin is no joke, and going up against Lissandra, that split second of silence can be just what completely changes out the course of team fights. If you can stop her from getting off her escape and ice path, if you can silence her before she can get her ultimate off, some very huge outplay opportunities from the lineup of Denial.
Now, looking over at Team Tempest's team, I feel like we're just like, oh man, check out Denial, they're so cool, but Tempest, they do have their own thing going on. I like the Vayne pick versus Twitch, so Vayne Thresh can kill Twitch. That's important because you pick something like, let's say, Thresh Tristana, which Tristana has decent burst, but if you don't kill Twitch quickly enough, because of the poison stacks, because of his expunge, he will out DPS most other AD carries early on in the game. So you need someone that can deal great single target sustained damage or super high burst. Vayne can actually fill both those roles if she gets a good condemn, but essentially, if Thresh lands a hook, they can kill Glebe Glarbu, they can kill Flappy Bearfish before Flappy Bearfish could kill one of them. And that is important for an anti-Twitch pick. If you actually do something to Twitch, can you kill him afterwards?
Yeah, and that is going to be the question. Can you kill the Twitch? Flappy Bearfish's Twitch has been absolutely monsters. Flappy with, I think, 2 pentakills so far in MCS, which is a devastating AD carry, and definitely going to look to do the carrying here for Denial Esports. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break, throw up some sponsor videos, but when we come back, it's going to be game number 2 of the evening. It will be Team Tempest going up against Denial Esports. Also, if you guys want to help support us as well, you can hit the button right down below the stream and leave us a tip, and we certainly do appreciate all of your help. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, we just gotta wait for those champions to load because here we are back in the Mobile Fire Challenger Series. I am being joined by the amazing Rapid. We got Team Tempest repping up the blue side. We got Denial, who has just been on a rampage in the MCS, repping the red side. Can Tempest do it? They are the team that has a worse win-to-loss ratio. They're 3-7 versus, I believe, the 7-2 of Denial. Can they come back from what is essentially just, by the numbers, a stronger team? And you know what? I don't know. Can they pull it off? I think they can. What about you, Rapid? What about you?
Well, we saw a little bit of an upset in our first game of the night. Gold Gaming Los Angeles actually falling to what is a very strong infinite odds team. People look at the ratio of infinite odds and they were, I think, 3-7. They're like, well, that's not actually that good. But when you consider that they actually started out at 0-6 because they were taking over for Exertus Zeal, 3-1 is not a bad ratio for a team just entering the tournament. Actually able to take out some pretty big names. So going into game number 2 of the evening, Team Tempest actually have a lot to prove. But if you look at their lineup, they actually have not only strong champions across the board, like you could see this lineup on any single challenger tier team in the entire tournament. I mean, it's just a strong lineup, strong champions. But especially for Team Tempest, these are champions that their individual players do extremely well on. And if you guys want to check out some of the individual stats, you can head over to mcsesports.com/teams and check out all the detailed info with direct links to all of these players' MCS performances. So a lot of great stats on over there. And shout out to people that designed that amazing website. But if you're just tuning in, well, you're just in time for the beginning of match pause, which is basically where we get to say, you know, how cool this is and how great we are that Riot included a pause feature, but also to introduce you to the teams. So I think I'll turn things over to Studio for that.
All right, so for Team Tempest, we got Segoy, Geek, Desu repping the Renekton, Francis on jungle, Zach, Baby Zeus on that mid lane, Lissandra, Virus on the Vayne, and Spiteful Spectre, I want to say Scepter so badly for some reason, on that support Thresh. And Rapid, can you bring in the Denial?
Well, I may be into Denial, but I hopefully am not in Denial, as they're going to get out of their base and out onto the Rift. They're in the red coming down from the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and it will be Inox on his Zed in the top lane, Scuba Chris in the jungle on Jarvan, Flappy Bearfish and Glebe Larbu on the bottom of that Twitch Sona combo, Nubby Pooh Bear bringing up the mid on Kassadin. And you can actually see the Doran's Blade starts for both AD carries, but not for either one of the junglers. We did just get done seeing Wappa Chang's Doran's Blade start onto his Jarvan the Fourth. But we'll see a little bit more of a tanky Jarvan come out here from Scuba Chris, as both teams grouping up, or at least Team Tempest grouping up, looking for a deep ward here on the Wraith camp. A little bit more spread out for Denial.
Denial, though, they do spot them out with the standard, and of course they smack them in the face with a Zed Shuriken. So they're aware Denial was in the area, but they do spot Denial in the Team Tempest jungle, so Tempest can now go ahead, go forward, and put down that ward. Essentially ward for ward going on, with both teams deciding to go for the more defensive and safe options and avoiding a confrontation, which is a legit idea because no one has that great a level 1 besides the death sentence on Thresh.
Death sentence would be pretty huge, but you need a little bit more follow-up than that. You don't have to burn all of your flashes just to pick up a kill, because at some point, that's actually going to wind up hurting you, even if you do get some extra gold. So overall, 3 wards placed down at very early phase of the game for this level 1, and 60-second ward just running out there for Spiteful Spectre, as he did put that down. So the ward coverage on the bottom half of the map and the presence there, completely in favor of Denial. They just want to stay down there. They want to keep it safe, and we're already starting to see some pretty interesting lanes work out. Inox going for that standard solo lane top. You can already see Baby Zeus, the traditional mid laner, moving down bottom for Team Tempest.
All right. Some changes going up here. They do want to shut down Cast in the mid lane. This is not unheard of to try and rotate the AD carry support mid so Kassadin can't just get free farm. Luckily, Denial was able to catch this quite quickly. Very few CS lost on either side, and they're able to just fight that 2v2 that they want to happen and secure the 1v1 for Kassadin down bot.
Yeah, that's actually really, really huge. 2v1ing a Kassadin is kind of death for the Kassadin. He already has problems CSing early game, especially against ranged champions. When you put him up against 2 ranged champions in Thresh and Vayne, just a little bit too rough to deal with. I mean, as is, W6D1 starts off with a lot of HP and sustain from potions in that crystalline flask, but you can already see a lot of damage going down in the middle lane. Silver Bolts coming off with that tumble damage. Virus hitting a level 2. Put Flappy Bearfish down to about 200-300 HP, so just want to keep it pretty safe for now. The big deal is going to be the first round of ganks. As you can see, double buffs coming out for both junglers right now. Francis is a little bit slower there on that Zac, but probably looking to wrap around here for the mid lane. May look for a gank, but no wards top make that a little bit of a better prospect.
And they are definitely looking for it. Francis, he kind of wants it. At the same time, Zed is a fairly difficult gank. Inox does have the Living Shadow, which he did just use right this second, but when it was available, one Zac was in the area. It's just such a risky gank to actually try and go for. Baby Zeus down bot, though, is in a bit of danger.
All right, yeah, going in bottom lane, we'll see the one of the first ganks of the game, somewhat ineffective. That Ice Path, it's a pretty good escape skill, but without that even skilled, makes it a little bit rough for a Baby Zeus. You can see him taking down below half HP. A lot of damage done in that trade top lane. You can see Geek gone mad, actually doing a lot of damage to Inox, really sort of using that early game Renekton bully power to keep Inox playing a little bit honest, forced to use his health potion, now just relying on the sustain from that Doran's shield.
Now, the thing with Zed in the top lane is he can eventually clear creep waves quite well. He can be very self-sufficient then, but right now Renekton, he's beefier, he's burlier, he does more damage, he can just man up versus Inox. And Inox can't do anything about it. That's why Geek Desu is staying so far pushed up, staying so far aggressive, because this is his chance to make Inox just suffer underneath the tower. And look at that CS. 10 CS advantage, not massive, but we're only 4 minutes in. That's quite a bit of the CS from the wave, just not hitting Inox. You cannot get those last hits by that turret.
Now, I think it's also kind of interesting to notice a little bit of a cool dynamic to this game. Francis is subbing in for the traditional jungler on Team Tempest. Francis is a sub for Denial Esports. So it's kind of interesting to see a guy from Denial kind of subbing in here. There's the slow going down. Francis coming in from behind. The flash from Flappy Bearfish will ignore that. Picks up the expunge kill even under exhaust. True damage proved to be a little bit strong there. Flappy gets the heal as well. Glebe Glarbu getting in there for the damage. Actually, the flash away from Virus. Taken down from the poison, but it's not going to be enough. Virus gets out with 85 HP and the first kill of the game. What a Flappy Bearfish starting us off early.
Scuba Chris, he gets it! Oh,
are you serious? I was like, okay, well, Virus, he gets out with about 85 HP. That's pretty cool. And then Scuba Chris is just like, heat-seeking jungle radar. Like, I don't know where you buy that. It's like from the secret shop or something.
I mean, the thing there was that they didn't expect it. Vayne at that point had no flash. She still had the barrier, so feasibly could have survived. But at the same time, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. I also think Virus was looking at the shop thing, because there was no reaction. That wasn't a tumble, and then he got picked off. That was just the clean cut through with the flag and drag. That's unfortunate, because that's 2 kills. That's 2 huge kills going towards Denial. Team Tempest is they're in a bad spot right now. Inox not doing well top lane. That's going to be the big hope. Can Geek Desu, bring the Gator? Can he unleash his inner Gator across the map?
Wow, that's some pretty long-range Gator action there. We'll have to see if he needs some Gator aid to help him out. I think the biggest thing to watch out for as far as Denial is concerned, like you mentioned, that top lane, but also starting things off at bottom lane. It had a lot of pressure down there. You can see Scuba Chris even coming down to even that out, and really it's all about hitting that level 6. W6D1 needs to get that, has it right now. Going on a level 4 Baby Zeus, gets hit by a little bit of CC, but Ignite going down. All it's going to take is one more Rift Walk and a Q combo, flash out, but will we see the flash under turret? W6D1 turns things around, he's going to go down. The outplay, Baby Zeus gets the kill. Somewhat over-aggressive, I feel, but
somewhat out of mana for W6D1 right there. He thought the Rift Walk would be enough, maybe get an auto attack in, but he ran out of mana, and that was it. You're dead, kid. You got nothing at that point. So a very ballsy play with very, very little payoff, unfortunately. Zac is chilling in the mid lane. They do land the CC on the Glebe Glarbu.
Yeah, Glebe's going to be in a little bit of a hurt city, except Scuba Chris there as well. The damage to follow up Slappy Bearfish. Getting the damage, flapping his Bearfishes all over Thresh. Spiteful Spectre will go down for the 3rd kill of the game and 2nd already for Flappy Bearfish. You can already see the itemization advantage of Bill's Runner Cutlass versus just that Vamp Scepter on a Vayne.
Now, that Cutlass, that is what's keeping Flappy in such a dominant position. He needed that damage, he needed that extra slow and burst to take out Spiteful Spectre. But the thing is, Spectre's going forward. He's trying to set up a fight. Scuba Chris actually dueling Francis. Francis does land the smite to get that blue buff, though. But they're sending in Spectre first to try and do something. And by the time the action finally happens, by the time Zac goes in, he's dead. It's that Twitch auto attack damage. They're trying to set up cool ganks, which would be awesome against anybody. Anybody except Twitch. Twitch will just kill you if you try and spend so much time setting up a gank.
And I think the biggest thing to watch out for, at least right now, is strength in the mid lane. Flappy Bearfish, we talked about his pentas and MCS, just an extremely strong AD carry. And when he gets going, it really doesn't matter. Okay, you know, Inox can get a little bit behind. Maybe even Nubby Pooh Bear will have a little bit of a rough game versus Baby Zeus. But if they have that back line, all it's going to take is meat in front. The thing I'm actually worried about, more so than the Renekton being huge top lane, is going to be a big tank in front. Baby Zeus, if he can get fed enough, if he can get far enough ahead, there's no way to micro against the Glacial Tomb. You just throw down the Frozen Tomb, actually, and even the lockup from the Ring of Frost. It's all going to hurt Flappy Bearfish's mobility and his positioning in teamfights a lot, especially since there's no real way to stop the Ice Path from going in. So do you want to watch that bottom lane, see if maybe Denial applies a little bit of pressure so that Flappy Bearfish can do all the damage, especially being so far ahead.
It's hard to apply so much pressure to Nubby Pooh Bear.
Oh, but the gank at top lane. We got Scuba Chris coming around the corner as she comes. Will pick up the kill. There onto the Crocodile. Geek got mad going down. And a little bit too aggressive for not having any ward stop, and Denial convert for a kill.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before going for that Kassadin kill. It's going to be so difficult just because it's Kassadin. He has a Rift Walk. He has a mobility. So the best they can hope for is to not deny some CS, to be rude like that. But Nubby Pooh Bear will most likely not die unless it's his own volition again, as he did in the past. Top lane, though, that was their wild card. That was their guy that was just getting farther and farther ahead. Renekton goes down. Luckily, only an assist for Zed, but I don't know. A lot of this is going to come down to whether or not Baby Zeus, possibly with the help of Geek Desu, can just kill Flappy Bearfish, just wipe him off the map. They definitely have that potential. They have that potential early on. The Renekton damage, the Lissandra damage is incredibly high. But, you know, if he survives any of anybody's burst, if he survives for 2 seconds in a fight, that can be a team fight right there. That is how quickly Flappy Bearfish is picking up items. Already has another Doran's Blade picked up. How much gold does he have in his inventory? 1,700 gold in his inventory. And Virus actually in a lot of danger now.
Death Sentence does land. There's the box to come out. Glebe Glarbu is going to be forced to auto attack for now. A nice box to get Spiteful Spectre out alive. Virus able to get out there too. So for all of that action, ult's burned and the win does go over to the duo lane for Denial. And like you mentioned, the tons of gold. Gonna be a Blade of the Ruined King when Flappy Bearfish goes back. He can basically buy whatever he wants right now. If he just wants to pick up a straight up BF sword, but completing that Blade of the Ruined King is gonna be absolutely huge. Meanwhile, bottom lane goes out. There's the initiated silence. Gets the knock up, the dunk to follow, but the immediate Glacial Prism there. Baby Zeus will turn things around once again. Picks up the kill, 1-for-1 on to Nubby Pooh Bear. Baby Zeus gets the turnaround again.
I mean, the perfect reaction. As the dunk was in the air, he got the Frozen Tomb off. He did not die to that Jarvan ultimate. That was so important because they needed that damage to be wasted. Unfortunately for Nubby Pooh Bear, Scuba Chris kind of killed him. He did not put the ultimate down. Nubby Pooh Bear took too many tower shots and just went down in the end. So a great 1-for-1, a great response, and a bit of a slip up, as I guess Scuba Chris just does not like Nubby Pooh Bear. That's all I can draw from that.
Scuba Chris will not be impressing his Kim Chisel with moves like that. He was down there, he was helping, but he apparently helped out Baby Zeus a little bit too there. So living up to his Jarvan standards, we'll be going back down there to the bottom lane and trying to help him out again. But I'm not sure Nubby's going to be too happy about that. You can see he even skipped completely away from that Tear of the Goddess. He's just going straight for that Rod of Ages. And I remember the very first time I saw Kassadin being played competitively, it was Corn Salad playing him in OGN. He actually went straight for a Medjai's right after that Rod of Ages and just completely snowballed the game. Probably won't see that build out here, but with the way Nubby Pooh Bear is playing, at least going to look for the Rod of Ages. We'll see what he builds after that.
Now that dragon, taken down to about half HP to start it a few seconds ago, taking him down so quickly. In comes Francis looking for the pickup.
Francis, Baby
go for it.
Both there, not able to pick up the dragon, but Nubby Pooh Bear looking for a good target. He's gonna have the lantern over the wall from Spiteful Spectre. It's who do you allow out of the dragon pit? And it looks like Baby Zeus drew the short straw there, forced to flash over the wall. And all in all, you know, the disengage pretty strong there for Team Tempest, but the dragon and kill and gold lead do go over to Denial. Ahead about 4,000, 3,500. there's Baby Zeus coming in from over the wall. The flash, the hook, forces the flash from Flappy Bearfish. So Flashy Bearfish getting away there.
I was gonna say it, but unfortunately that fight went down. So Lysandra losing her flash is not that big a deal. Same with Francis. The problem is more so for Baby Zeus. He can't follow up on somebody if they flash away from his initial engage. And guess what happened? Immediately after he has to burn his own flash, when it was essentially a choice of him or Francis, they get the easy disengage because Flappy Bearfish and Glebe Garbu both had their flashes up. So just, you can't predict for the future, so unfortunately that does go down. Baby Zeus does help break 2 flashes though, so it is not a waste of his time to go down that mid lane. Still, they got to kill Flappy or Glebe maybe.
Going in, doesn't even need the lantern
gang. Glebe!
Garbu's still alive. What? So survives so long, but it's not going to be enough. A 3-for-1, only Glebe going down, and the spray and pray piercing shots, huge from Flappy Bearfish. You can just see 5 and 0 Twitch with 133 CS. Blade of the Ruined King completed before the 12-minute mark. Flappy Bearfish pretty strong, and with 3 kills off of that. Middle turret goes down, middle lane and the duo lane. Flappy Bearfish really getting things done for Denial.
I mean, Glebe Garbu, he had to die. That was the one thing that had to happen. And then Team Tempest could have done something with that. Unfortunately, he does not go down. They take him down so low, but the ultimate going off was enough for the spray and pray to come into play. The Jarvan ult to lock people in. It was just enough time to set up that huge play. If he had died a half second earlier, he would not have gotten the ult off. He would have not gotten his heal off. He would have not set up Jarvan for the easy damage and set up Twitch for the crazy damage. And that was it right there. That was just that half-second difference coming into play. Glebe Garbu, he was out of position in a sense, but he also knew his team was there to back him up. He is actually one of my favorite supports to see in action, just because he knows this game so well. I'm formerly a mid player, formerly a top player. He's played everything, and he takes that knowledge into that Sona role.
As I have it on good authority from the manager from Denial, Angel, that Flappy Bearfish just quote-unquote capped them with his 9. I'm not sure if that's a direct quotation or a slight paraphrase, but definitely getting the job done. As Scuba Chris coming out of the jungle with Flappy. He's kind of his own personal bodyguard. You got these 2 Secret Service agents, and now it's Secret Flappy coming in here, stealthing in on Baby Zeus. Baby Zeus knows something's up, but it's Spiteful Spectre finds himself in a little bit of a rough situation. The dodge, look, Flappy Bearfish, can nothing bring down the Godfish? I don't even know, man. This guy is on fire. Super hot fire, as it may be. 6-0 and 1. 150 CS. Mid lane looking pretty good for Denial.
It's a pretty damn good start. 6-0-1 Twitch. Zed top lane. He is 0-0-1 versus a 0-1-0 Nectin. Geek Desu, he died earlier to a gank. So far, the lane's been just passive afterwards. Essentially, top lane is a stalemate. Even though they got that kill, hasn't really been going to either way. Mid lane, a total stomp. WPoober down bot lane. He is just so far ahead in golden experience. Now, Geek Desu, it's another Twitch gang. Flappy Bearfish just roaming across the map looking for the kills.
Yeah, Geek Desu, he's going to throw on the Ghost. It actually might be enough to get away. There's no movement speed buffs from Inox and Flappy Bearfish. We're going to see Living Shadow off cooldown in about 5 seconds for Inox, but it's just not going to be in time. The flash, the dunks, the slice and dice, the peel from Geek Desu gets him out alive. I don't know what I'm watching, but it's not the death of a crocodile. He is going to be mobile on both the exterior and the interior, making it...
I mean, Geek Desu did something really cool with that last slice and dice too. He was able to get it on Jarvan as Jarvan landed onto him. So he still got out of the pit, which can be tricky to do from that range. And he also got the extra dice, if so he needed it. Still though, Ghost coming into action. They are a very AoE-centric team, but the mobility, it's all going to be on WPoober. Inox has that instant burst, that instant catch, but nothing sustained, and W could have gotten that kill. Fortunately, he's still bot lane, just trying to farm up a storm. Now has a tier, now has a Rod of Ages, now he's going for the extra utility, going for that more mana-oriented casting to increase that Rift Block damage. 3-9 though, 7,000 gold in favor of Denial. That is a tremendous lead. That is a gigantic lead at 17 minutes. It is just amazing to be that far ahead. And Virus, he might be in danger. WPoober taking him down to half HP, no auto attacks. None of that Netherblade coming in. Might come into play now though.
Yeah, he's going to go in the Impale to Flash, or Condemned to Flash, rather, as Skarner not in this game. Virus will get out alive. Nubby Pooh Bear, you may actually look at his score and say, oh, 0-2 versus 3-2. Baby Zeus totally won that lane out. But then you look at their gold values, and it's actually 5,600 to 5,000. So the 600 gold lead actually goes to Nubby Pooh Bear just off of that 60 CS or 40 CS advantage. So kind of not necessarily the best idea to just look straight at the scores. And even going for that's Tear of the Goddess second, it's not going to be stacked up as fast, but the Rod of Ages is going to be stacked up earlier, and you can see a ton of pressure bottom lane here from Denial. Vayne somewhat out of position. Virus going to tumble back to his turret. Flappy Bearfish getting the damage off on his Spectre. Let's get the flash, the crescendo, the damage, the engage from Scuba Chris, a little bit overextended. Ultimate there, spray and pray out from Flappy Bearfish. Not going to have that here for this impending fight, but Baby Zeus can get in there with the ultimate. Does he have that Frozen Tomb? Gonna throw it down. Is the damage enough? Barrier comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Shut down onto the legendary, or godlike rather, Flappy Bearfish. He's going to get out. Meanwhile, top lane, there's a lot of action going down, but the action really in the bottom lane. Double flash out from the Cataclysm as Scuba Chris forcing out those summoner spells and getting out alive. This will probably, it could be a bottom turret if Denial want to stick around, but as is, they're backing off for right now. Could go for that dragon, but it's the 1v1 Geek Desu taking out a Nox in the upper jungle. Moving things around a little bit, picking up some gold for Tempest.
I mean, I gotta say, when you have your 7-1-1 Twitch, you keep your 7-1-1 Twitch alive. Flappy Bearfish was left to the Wolves there, had a 2v1 versus Zach and Lissandra. He did kind of walk into it afterwards, just manning up when he realized he was caught, but still, a little bit surprised Denial left Flappy Bearfish so open in that bot engagement. And that is what got them that kill, that huge kill. It's like, alright, Thresh died. That is not that big a deal just because he's 0-5-1, not worth all that much gold, not worth just all that much in general. You kill a Thresh, very little experience gain because he's only level 8, very little gold gain from his death streak, and it's kind of showing right now. So the question is, alright, Thresh, not that worthwhile. Make sure you keep your Flappy alive, make sure you keep your Bearfish protected with this, possibly the Sun ult, with the Jarvan combination, because he is the key to the team right now. Nubby's useful, Inox is useful, the entire team is useful, but Flappy Bearfish is a beast right now.
Yeah, Flappy's pretty huge. 7-1-1. Had a little bit of a misplay there in that fight, but it's going to catch out Virus immediately. I almost said DFG, but it's the AD DFG. Blade through and King going down. And so does Virus. Scuba Chris getting in there and picking up the kill for himself. And, definitely hoping that Kim Chisel is watching currently, because Scuba put on a show 4-0-5. Absolutely huge. The thing that's also kind of huge is that, unfortunately, Sona, Glebe Glarbu, stole the blue with the Q, so he's gonna have a little bit of extra mana regen there on him. So Glebe, a little bit unfortunate, gonna deny that from Nubby, but not going to deny a very strong push in this bottom lane for Denial. They're gonna be pushing in onto the secondary turn. Only Baby Zeus and Spiteful Spectre there to defend against 4 members strong. Denial looking for their second to initiate bottom lane. The stun off onto Baby Zeus. The Zanya's through the turret, looking to get taken out. Where's the Dragon Strike? But immediately throws down the Frozen Tomb. We're looking for a dunk, but it's not a range. Baby Zeus shutdown goes down from Spiteful Spectre. There's going to be the Zac passive popped underneath the turret. Can Denial pick him off? The body blocking from Virus and Spiteful Spectre actually going to get Zac back alive. Actually a little bit of a disadvantageous dive there, going 1-for-0 in favor of Team Tempest.
I mean, Team Tempest, they are behind, but those turrets still hurt Flappy Bearfish. Because even though he is doing so well, he is still a squishy character, and they got to play around that. So Jarvan went too far forward, Flappy Bearfish tanked the turret for a while, cannot do so. And it's kind of showing that, alright, they're doing well, but when you have a fed AD carry, the AD carry can usually still die quite easily. He hasn't built a defensive item yet. He doesn't have, massive crits quite yet. He is going for that Infinity Edge, so Flappy Bearfish needs to be very cautious, because he does go down easily. And the rest of his team, if they lose at Twitch, well, they're useful, but they just do not have this sustained DPS.
Yeah, and it's that sustained DPS that's really going to make a difference, especially over the course of those long, drawn-out team fights. I mean, if you're looking for burst, it doesn't get a lot better than, Scuba Chris jumping in and then Flappy Bearfish damage, and Nox and Nubby Pooh Bear really going to be those super huge dive buddies. Now Nubby Pooh Bear finally gets a blue buff of his own, as long as young Glebe is nowhere in the area. So we're going to see that on cast, and pretty actually, he's he's not very far behind right now. We were talking about how he's actually ahead of Baby Zeus in gold, but that Zanya's Hourglass complete is huge itemization for Lissandra. 4-2-1, great play escaping and then surviving through that 5 seconds of invulnerability over the course of that last team fight. Really going to be the kind of the linchpin for this Team Tempest team.
Actually, Lissandra, that fight, did have to Zonia's and eventually ult herself outside of the range of anybody to stay alive, but it worked, and that's what matters. It was a 1-for-0. Not a huge gain for Team Tempest, just because it's what, 400, 600 gold, even with the killing spree. Still not massive, but any lead they can win back, anything they can try and do to claw back into this game is hugely important. They are behind by about 8,000 gold right now, a massive gold differential. The items are just all there. I mean, look at Flappy Bearfish's total gold, 9,700. The closest is 7,100. And that's because Geek Desu has been farming up the entire game for Team Tempest. And that is the closest between the two teams. So it's a dangerous spot to be in, but if they can keep abusing the fact that Flappy's been open a few times, that they can't go for super aggressive dives, Scuba Chris is the only tank right now, and it does kind of show.
You can see very good rotation here from Team Tempest. Even Virus coming up. He's not going to do the CLG strat where you just sent the AD carry to farm, but with the Nox kind of zoning out the entire team. It's denial onto the Baron buff. Scuba Chris tanking it up. Flappy Bearfish able to deal the damage, but we're looking for the crescendo from Glebe. They're zoning the entire Team Tempest off the Baron, and it's a free Baron for denial. They're just going to walk in, walk out with the buff, and it's going to be Baby Zeus actually throwing down the ultimate on himself to keep it alive versus Anox. He still has that death mark alive. What is that blow-up damage? Virus just melted. Same thing for Spiteful Spectre. I'm not sure what was happening. Oh, Baby Zeus accidentally ulted himself.
Yes.
I don't think he meant to do that there, and somewhat laughing after that. Does get out alive, but not so lucky for the dual lane going down for Tempest.
Unfortunately for the dual lane, they did get hit by the Sona ultimate. Flappy Bearfish got in range, got the spray and pray off. Spectre died to the initial damage, but Virus actually got caught afterwards. It died in 2 hits to Flappy Bearfish. 2 500 damage crits. Virus unfortunately only had about 1,000 HP left then, and that was all she wrote. Now 14-6, 12,000 gold lead. Baron on denial. They have an inhibitor dead. This is their game to lose at this point. There is so little that can be done. Virus does not have the item 052. They do not have the teamfight AoE. They do not have the assassin potential. Baby Zeus is their only hope right now. And even then, I don't think Flappy Bearfish is going to die to one combo. He has that Blade of the Ruined King. And with the Infinity Edge, his lifesteal from one spray and pray auto attack will be insane.
Yeah, this is where I like to play the game. Which one of these lanes is not like the others? And you look at 052 and 161. It's a combined 1 and 11 for the duo lane on Team Tempest. And when you look over at Denial's duo lane, it is somewhat different. It's combined 7 and 2. 7 and 1, actually, for that Flappy Bearfish. Just picked up his Sword of the Divine. So if you thought things blew up quickly before, you're looking to see some auto crits at... I think that's going to put Twitch at about 2.3 attack speed. I could be overestimating that, but it's going to be huge crits, huge damage for Flappy Bearfish. So I cannot wait to see what he's got up his sleeve. He's going to stealth in there, and especially with Baron buff, 251 AD, looking against Virus's 146.
That is guaranteed crits. He can wipe out Spectre, Baby Zeus, and Virus right now in the mid lane. You know, Zeus might get his ultimate off. That's about the only thing that could happen. Flappy Bearfish can almost 1v5 at this point with a good ultimate. And that's going to be so hard to defend this turret right now for Team Denial. Flappy Bearfish will not use the ultimate for pushing. It will only be for kills, and it will be for many, many kills.
All right, so it is going to be Team Tempest. They're looking to defend not just their secondary outer turret, but the initiation onto a Nox. Actually, a little bit of a miss onto the Baby Zeus. Damage to Nubby Pooh Bear with the WTF to follow. Nice crescendo. Gets it out 3 members. Glebe Glarbrew getting in there with the damage into CC, but it may not be enough. And Nox actually does get in there for the kill, but will wind up falling. Oh my goodness, there he goes. Finally getting taken down. Play backwards, but it's not enough as support on support vengeance. It's a double kill, though, coming out from Flappy Bearfish. The follow-up kills from Nubby going in behind enemy lines, trying to get the kill onto Francis on the fountain. Teaches him to I guess he's on Denial as a sub, but he's subbing for the enemy team, so a little bit of treachery going on there, kind of trying to make him pay, but he gets out alive, kind of letting one of their own live, and now the damage onto the Nexus turrets. Denial looking to close out the game, force the flashback onto the fountain from Francis. Baby Zeus will make it back, not blowing his flash, but a nice ice path gets him out alive. Home guards get him back into the fight. First Nexus turret of the game falls. Denial looking to close out the game.
I mean, can they do anything? They'll have 5 members up strong for Team Tempest in about 1 second, but still, you know, 2 inhibitors down, massive gold difference. They're still hanging out in the base. Floppy Bearfish does not have the ultimate, but does have Sword of the Divine in 30 seconds. At this point, it's not even one good team fight, it's one good kill, and that Nexus goes down for free. They're just so far behind. Denial is going to take the safe option. They're not going to go for the push right now. They're going to back off, try and get a kill or something. Floppy Bearfish is Death Sentence. This could be it. They need something.
Yeah, they're going to look to turn things around, but it actually will be the turnaround kill. Death Sentence is kind of sentencing Spiteful Spectre to death. The condemned to the wall going to mean that Scuba Chris will get his second death of the game, and it's Team Tempest looking to turn things around against Denial. Virus, Deathmark, no chance for survival, just getting blown apart by a Nox, and now it's Geek Gone Mad, not long for this world, going to get taken out in his own right. The minion wave is there, and so is Denial. Not even looking to push through this inhibitor. They're just going to walk in on the Nexus. They have super minions. They have basically everything they needed. Geek on Mad says it's worth, so I mean, I guess that means that we're not going to see the end of the game just yet, but it's a Yomu's Ghost Blade completed onto a Nox. That's some next level itemization from him. He's actually canceling his auto attacks on the Nexus, so somewhat difficult. Dance party in there, nobody dancing more than everyone hit by Gleeve Glarbu's Crescendo, and with the super minions pushing in, the damage on the Nexus, it will fall 22-8. The final score, Denial Esports taking the game.
Nexus blows up, finally at 28-50. Just such a dominating performance. Early on, like, they had one mistake, and that was Nubby Pooh Bear dying bot lane, except it was Nubby Pooh Bear dying with a 2-level advantage. He was that far ahead that it didn't really matter, unfortunately, for the members of Team Tempest. And Denial, with that, I believe they're now 8-2. I want to see their final scores, or not final, but their scores in the MCS. Looking strong, looking powerful. It shows why they have gotten such a high score and such a high ratio of win to loss in this series so far.
Yeah, they are actually 9-2 now after having won that game. And actually, it's kind of interesting because Complexity playing next versus Cognitive, if Cognitive wins, that will actually put Denial Esports in a tie for first place, or in a tie for second place, with Complexity, I don't know, almost out of the top 3. They've been second place for the entirety of the season. To be determined has been in first, now tied with Complexity, and we'll see what Complexity can pull out of their sleeves coming up next, going up against Cognitive Gaming. So that will be the next series coming your way. We will have a special guest commentator in sort of the sub of MCS. He's subbed for most of the teams, I think, by now. It will be Billy Boss joining us, so don't go anywhere. We're going to throw up a quick commercial break. But when we come back, it's going to be Complexity taking on Cognitive Esports when we continue.